Hello, everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk more about human design transits because many of you have been asking me about it, how that really works, where is it all coming from? And I have been waiting a little bit with this because, as many of you may know already, I have been in a little bit of a transition phase where I'm working now more with True Sidereal astrology, but I'm also still working with tropical. But obviously, that also impacts the transits, which I will show you today. So for that, again, I am going to share my screen. I will show you how actually in genetic matrix you can figure this all out. I'm going to talk a little bit more in general about transits. And I will also show you some resources that you can access so you can work more with those transits as well. And so in general, in human design, we often say that you have all of the chart. This is actually something that my teacher at the time, Karen Parker, made me really click. And I'm very grateful for her for that. That, even though you have your human design chart, and obviously now also if you have a tropical human design chart, you may also have a true sidereal version of it. So there's going to be different gates defined, different centers defined. You may even be a different type, different profile. And for me, that was actually very easy to accept and integrate because I always had this idea, well, all of the energies in the chart are relevant to all of us at the end of the day. Yeah, there may be some that have a bigger significance for myself. That's kind of my access point to everything and how the teachings of human design reach me, which for me, again, in a very simplified way, every human design chart gets you out of the head into your body and helps you really trust yourself and see those parts of you that you probably have been denying of yourself, or something that you know deep inside about yourself, but you haven't really given yourself permission to fully step into. So it's in a way a tool to validate yourself and then fully step into that. So, but with that now, I want to talk a little bit about the transit. So over the course of a year, the sun and the earth as well, they move through all 64 human design gates. This is similar to the gene keys. If you have been following along with the gene keys, they have a beautiful newsletter every week where they share the current gene key transit. That's the same as the gate, right? It's just that the gene keys language is a little bit deeper. And that means that we all collectively feel those energies. And especially if you have something undefined in your chart. So if right now, for example, let's say we were on gate 22 and I don't have this gate defined in my chart, it doesn't mean like I have never felt this energy, because right now, if that's a transit, I actually may feel this stronger because in a way I can amplify this through my openness in the chart. So now I'm going to start sharing my screen to make this a little bit clearer for all of you. So here we have Genetic Matrix again. That's my go-to software. I use, I highly recommend it. I have the Pro version. And this is my tropical human design chart. And before I show you the transits, I also want to show you something here where it says quantum. You can click something called mandala, quantum mandala. And I love this because it shows you those 64 gates, basically. So my conscious sun, right, is the gate 13. That means in the tropical system, at the time I was born, the sun was transiting through gate 13. It was actually in the line 2. So every gate moves through 6 lines. And after it goes through the 6th line, then it moves into the next gate. So the next gate would be gate 49 and then gate 30 and so forth. So over the course of the year, the sun will move. It takes about 5 to 6 days for each gate, will move around the whole circle and then do it again, right? And the earth, for example, is always at the exact opposite of this mandala. So when the sun is in gate 13, the earth is going to be in gate 7, right? So in a way, just through the sun and the earth, we get to experience, all of us, for 5 to 6 days every year, each gate twice, right? And then on top of it, we have other planets. They also move through certain gates. The moon, for example, the moon moves through all 64 gates within the context of the lunar cycle. So it's about 28 to 29 days. And it moves through 2 to 3 gates every single day. So through the moon, you get to experience all 64 gates about 12 times in a year, right? So can you see now why also Richard Rudd and the Gene Keys keep saying like all 64 gene keys are relevant to all of us? And for me, again, the big wisdom of human design and the Gene Keys lies in those 64 archetypal energies. It just really explains how the universe works so beautifully, right? When we are not operating from like an ego mind and trying to force things, but when we can let life show us and show us the breadcrumbs of the universe one step at a time, where there's more trust and surrender involved. So this is now this overview that I just wanted to show you. And again, this here is the tropical view where we have 12 signs. They're all equal in size. And if you have watched my previous video where I talk more about True Sidereal, you may already know that in True Sidereal, astrology looks a little bit different. But right now, I want to focus on the transits for tropical, so you understand how you can actually find them. So I'm going now back to the regular quantum view. And if you want to now know, okay, in what gate is the sun right now? What is the transit? In genetic matrix, you simply click here where it says foundation. And then you type in foundation. And then here you have foundation transit. So you want to click on that. And then still here on the left, I have my regular tropical human design chart. But here on the right, it tells me basically that right now, as I'm recording this, according to the tropical astrology system, the sun is in gate 42 in the line 1. The earth is in gate 32 in the line 1. North node is in gate 51, south node in 57. The moon is in gate 23 and so forth, right? And like I said, so the moon is the fastest moving planet, and it's kind of fun. You can look at this tomorrow and you will see that the moon is not going to be in this gate anymore. It will have moved already quite a bit. And the nodes usually, I think it's almost 16 months. I don't know exactly how long, but it stays much longer, several months in those nodes. So here you probably won't see any kind of difference with the sun and the earth. They mostly likely will have moved into the next line. So it's going to be 42.2 or already 0.3, because maybe right now we're actually already close to 0.2. And then the earth is in gate 32.1 right now. And then tomorrow or later today, it may be in gate 32, but the line 2 already, until it's going to the line 6, and then it moves into the next gate, right? Then we have Mercury. Mercury also moves a little bit faster than most other planets. It's very similar to the sun. That's also why you see Mercury always very close to the sun as well. Then we have Venus and Mars. They are going to be a little bit slower. So you will just notice that they will hang out in those gates a little bit longer. And then the outer planets like Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus. And then we have Neptune and Pluto. And Pluto, for example, is very, very long time in certain gates because it's just a very slow moving planet. Okay, so this is where this comes from. There's another way, in case you don't have genetic matrix, especially the paid version like I do. There's another way. There's this beautiful website called humandesignsystem.com. It's called the Zen Human Design. And they have this thing called ephemeris or ephemeris. And for each year, they have this little pocket guide. I have this myself here. I had it for last year. Since I have it in genetic matrix, I didn't get it for this year. But for a very small amount, you can just order this. And you can even find this on Amazon. Even when I was Googling it, I saw even on Walmart, they sell this. But theirs, usually they have a bigger version for the next big one. It's from the year 2026 until 2050. So it's like for many, many years. And in there, when you open it, for every month, you will see that where the sun, where the earth, and all these other planets that I was just showing you in the human design chart, it will tell you exactly like when it's every day what gate it will be in. And there you will also see the different gates that the moon is in a day, either 2 or 3 different ones, like I was saying. Okay, so again, this is a tropical. And now the true sidereal. To make this to the point here right now, I have done many videos already about true sidereal. Actually, my most recent video was about how to actually create your true sidereal human design chart also in genetic matrix. And I did show there this little table that I created based on the knowledge that I have. It may not be 100% accurate, but I think it's very, very close. And basically with the true sidereal, we are looking what's really in the sky, and this just has much more resonance to me. And over 2000 years ago, tropical and true sidereal astrology were the same because it was what in the sky, but we have a precession of the equinoxes. So every 72 years, there's a 1-degree shift that tropical astrology doesn't take into account. And for me, that is a flaw, while I also find tropical very valuable. But basically, every year there is this number here that I have is basically 1 divided by 72, nothing else, no rocket science. So every year, this number, which is the difference basically of degree in the zodiac wheel, goes up by this amount. So for the year 2024, I am using the number 32.278. And in genetic matrix, under settings, when you go there, I'm going to show this to you quickly. You can then put this number in there. You see, I already did this here. But for those of you that have never seen me do this, so this is where you can put this in. Now, if you're pulling a birth chart for somebody that was born in 1980, you want to use the number for 1980. But this is right now, we're focusing on the transits, okay? And again, this is my approximated number. Don't take this as, oh, this is the truth. This is what Analena said. This is how it has to be. Play with it. See how it feels. And now I'm just going back to the chart. Okay, so now I'm back here. Again, this is my tropical chart. We already looked at the transits here. And remember, we had gate 42 in the sun, right? And now I'm going here to the true sidereal. And with this adjustment that I made, this is pretty accurate. Now, this is now not my correct true sidereal chart because this is now for this current year, 2024, if I was born in 2024. This is my non-splenic manifestor. So it's still very similar actually to my other chart. It's just this gate 21 now here defined, well, and have an undefined zero. So actually a lot changed because there's over like half a degree difference between what this number was for the year 1982, okay? This is a little bit advanced right now, but those of you that have been following me along in my other YouTube videos, I think you know what I'm talking about. What I want to just look at right now is this transit, right? So foundation transit again. And this is what I want to see now. So right now, per the true sidereal astrology, the sun is actually not in gate 42. It is here in gate 22. The earth is in gate 47, north node is in gate 63, and south node is in 64, and so forth, right? So as you can see, very, very different numbers. And again, I want to also show you now with the mandala that I had before, so that it makes a little bit more sense to you guys. So in the true sidereal, if you look at the astrology signs, they are not all the same size, first of all. And this is actually, if you look at the sky, I'm going to take right now Virgo. This is the sign of Virgo. It's freaking huge. It's very, very big. And other signs like Libra is a very small sign, actually, right? But in tropical astrology, at some point they just decided, okay, to make it easier, to make it simpler, let's just categorize it into evenly sized signs of 30-degree. The other thing in True Sidereal, there's another sign that is actually in the sky. It's called Ophiuchus, which is very, very close to Scorpio. It's also a similar energy than Scorpio, but it's a separate constellation in the sky. And as you can see, it's also a very small one, right? And those of you that also have listened to me talking about the recent solar eclipse. So I was telling you guys, right, it's in Pisces. And tropical astrology was saying that the solar eclipse was in Aries. Now, what we just looked at this transit, right? And again, if you look at the sky still right now, you will actually see that the sun is literally in Pisces. It's like undeniable to me, at least. And this gate 22 right now, that genetic matrix was showing me that this is where the sun should be right now, in this very moment in the sky, is also, right? You see it's in the sign of Pisces. Then next, it's the sun is going to move into gate 36, which is still in Pisces. And then, so in the next 7, 8, 9 days, we're actually going to enter into Aries with the sun. We're going to get into gate 25. And then as you can see, Aries is actually very small. We only have like 1, 2, 3, 4 gates that are actually in Aries. And then we're already going to move into Taurus, which then is a little bit of a bigger sign. And look, this is here to give you some options to experiment for yourself what feels most true to you. I personally shared the human design gate transits for many, many years on my Instagram channel or profile. And I used the tropical transits. I didn't really know any better. And it was beautiful. I learned so much from it. And I think now I will start experimenting with talking about the transits, the gates, per True Sidereal. And this is literally for us collectively to feel into it. What feels most true to you, right? It's not here to force you into anything. This is what it has to be, and this is right, and this is wrong. No, this is just like, okay, if you really tune into your body, like what feels more true to you, right? And I personally still, I do feel a lot of Pisces energy, and I'm also actually excited to move into more taking action energy as we then are going to move into Aries. So with that as well, what I want to say is that your actual, and I'm going to now go back to the tropical chart, your human design chart is not going to change. So this, I'm talking now tropical, let's say this is your tropical chart. And while certain gates, so gate 42 right now is where the sun is, right? And this kind of feels as if you have gate 42 defined, but it doesn't mean it changes your human design in some way, right? The one type per human design that is most sensitive to the transits, especially the transits of the moon, is supposedly the reflector. But if you ask me, I think we all, anything that we have undefined, we can be very receptive to that, right? And we can really take on these energies, even like from other people that have certain gates defined, we can take this on. And so the whole essence of these transits is just like the signs we talk about in astrology, right? It's like a collective energy we all get to feel. We all get to taste all the 64 gates over and over and over again so that we learn those lessons in our lifetime. And yeah, so this is what I wanted to share with you guys. Have fun with this. Like I said, this is not here to make one thing right and one thing wrong. This is more to open up your perspectives, to show you how you can play with those transits and feel into it, what feels most true to you. And yeah, you can follow me along on my Instagram because I am about to start sharing, I think, the transits in True Sidereal. I still have a little bit of a resistance because I feel very much like a rebel. But I feel like, why not? Because after all, human design is an experiment. So let's have some fun and play with that. So With that, I wish you all a beautifuful evening or good morning wherever you're at in this world, and I'll see you next time.